Don't waste.
I'm ready to shine. Yeah.
My time.
I want my close up, baby.
Don't waste.
Yeah.
My time.
Yo, here we go.
I've been sitting here waiting for so long, watching the weak moves and not that strong. Now I'm ready to prove the world wrong. Give me the stage and let's go.
And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, it is, of course, my name, Nick Malone, alongside Brandon Solid Gold Goldenberg.
Solid gold.
And we welcome here on to Over the Ropes right here on WCWP a very special guest, the paragon of virtue and the Black Pope himself, Elijah Burke, here onto the program. And Elijah, how you doing tonight?
Man, we're doing, man, enjoying the warm weather of the, I guess you all know it, it's just God's chosen state of Florida. So.
Yeah. And certainly here in New York, I guess we're going to get some rain as we have practically all this week, so probably being in Florida, it's been a lot better than it has here. But really, just to get underway here, as a kid growing up, were you really ever a fan of wrestling? And if so, who did you grow up idolizing?
Well, I guess it's quite obvious, man. You can pretty much tell those who are fans of wrestling and those who are just, your typical, casual fan of wrestling.
Yeah.
I've been a fan all my life, and you could probably just tell that in the little simple things that I do when I'm in the ring. But growing up, man, and being in Jacksonville, Florida, it was always Georgia Championship Wrestling, Florida Championship Wrestling, NWA World Class Championship Wrestling. You understand? So back in the day, we used to just refer to those wrestling organizations as the real wrestling,
Definitely.
I mean, we got WWF as well, but we considered that cartoon at the time, so...
Yeah.
I grew up, idolizing, obviously, the Nature Boy Ric Flair and my favorite wrestler of all time, the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes.
Mm-hmm. And really, moving on from that point of your life, was becoming a part of the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office a lifelong dream of yours, or something that you could do more or less as a main job of sorts with wrestling on the side?
Well, the experience one, paragon of virtue, the God and light. I wasn't always destined to be the Black Pope, if you get my understanding.
Mm-hmm.
I'm only the Black Pope because I'm the first of my kind of drift. So, my road that I walked, the path that I took at a point in time in my life wasn't always a straight and narrow.
Yeah.
So, to get to the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office, man, and, be putting people, behind bars rather than being behind bars was a huge step in the right direction in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And, becoming a professional wrestler, that was always my dream. I was able to accomplish all of my goals, but how many people can actually say that they accomplished, toppled their dream, and conquered it, to get to the big stage of WWE and WrestleManias.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I use that as a plural statement, WrestleManias.
Yeah, definitely.
So, yeah, man. So, that had always been my lifelong dream, and thanks be unto the big Black Pope in the sky, somehow, he afforded me the opportunity, as I was booking a guy in jail, and lo and behold, I saw they was taking so long, it was crowded, and I decided to get on the internet, and somewhere, somehow, a banner came up saying something about OVW's first ever tryout camp.
Okay.
I went to it, and the rest is history.
How did you get started in the wrestling business?
Well, again, as I was just saying, the banner came up for OVW's tryout camp. Now, me and my best friend, we had he's about 300-pound redneck, size 15, barefoot walking, and they stayed on top of me at the time in my apartment that I was staying in. So I used to have to go upstairs every now and then and kind of, lay the smack down on them.
Definitely.
And we became best of friends, and it was his dream. He was a lifelong fan of wrestling as well, and we had made plans to go down to the Funkin' Conservatory in Ocala, Florida.
Yeah.
And I wanted to do it with him, and it was our goal to do that. And obviously, some of us have more drive than others, and he could, every time we're going to do it, we're going to do it. He was slacking in the savings department, so when the opportunity came for the WWE tryout, I got accepted. You know, they sent me the form back, said, hey, come on, you can come, and we're going to look at you. Man, I took 2 weeks off from the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office, and I headed up there to Louisville, Kentucky, man, and I tried out. I didn't know a headlock from a wrist lock, you know, but, you know, Jim Cornette, man, you know, he said, hey, you don't know this, you don't know that, you don't know what smells good, and you don't know what looks good, but I tell you what, man, we can train you. You got a good look. You got you're teachable. And he said, that's what we're looking for. And he said, you got something. I can't guarantee you a contract, but if you are willing to come back, and I'm not telling you to leave your career, but he said, if you're willing to come back, I can almost guarantee you a contract, you know, and you know, within a year's time, man, I got signed.
Nice, nice. Really, when you met with Jim Cornette and of course, other trainers of Ohio Valley Wrestling with Les Thatcher there, was it difficult to deal with starting out, and really, what did it mean to you when you became the first and only African-American champion of that company at the time?
Wow, that meant a lot. And I'm really shocked because I've done I've had my fair share of interviews.
Yeah.
And I got to tell you, without me having to acknowledge you are actually the first. You know, good job of doing your homework. You're the first to actually acknowledge the fact that I was the first and only, might I add. Now, we're talking Kentucky, all right?
Yeah.
I mean, this is the Kentucky that on WWE.com/The Elijah Experience that I had to, I had to go and initiate my Z-Tip plan, which is a zero tolerance for inbred policy.
Oh, definitely.
We're talking Kentucky, man.
Being up here in New York, I mean, certainly, I mean, we don't frown upon that, but we have never seen that type of fan base before.
So we're talking about a bunch of people, and we got some good people there, but we're talking about, man, these people, something about they embrace this Afro head, you know, and I don't know what the guy name is, but if I could steal his phrase, this little nappy-headed kid from Jacksonville, Florida.
I think it was, was it Imus or something?
Yeah, I'm not Don Imus, you know what I'm saying? But, hey, I am the Pope, so I can say that in all pureness, that they embrace this nappy-headed black kid from Jacksonville, Florida, man. And, you know, it was crazy. I mean, it was crazy, man. And I was as green as I could possibly be. Yeah. But, man, you know, this is where the Elijah Express actually came into play, man. These people hopped aboard this locomotive that was known as Elijah Burke, man, and we went straight to the top of OVW. It was a crazy and wonderful ride.
Nice. And really, when you were brought up to the SmackDown Blue brand, of course, you were teamed with Sylvester Terkay, and really, what were your first impressions of him coming from the MMA world now into the WWE? My
first impressions of the man bear was, God dang, why are we taking this guy and making him into this MMA shooter type deal? Why not just let this guy be Bruiser Brody?
Exactly.
I mean, that's where he made his name. God, he was a beast. You know, and they were aware of that. But you know, they wanted him to be, you know, this MMA type guy where, you know, this guy actually did MMA for a living.
Yeah.
So having to separate the two was kind of difficult for him. I mean, he was legitimately, he's a tough guy, man. He was going in there, he was roughing guys up. You know, it may not have looked good, but it felt like crap. And I only know because I was on the other end of it.